Hector wins where everybody is looking. Odysseus wins where nobody is. Not temperament, what each method physically needs, which means they cannot both get the day they want out of the same battle. So it comes down to one gate. Odysseus does not have to kill Hector. He has to make Troy take one wrong decision.
They must take the horse.
Hector does not have to outthink Odysseus. He has to make sure that decision is never on the table. And the Trojan horse makes the answer look obvious, because we know how this ends. Odysseus takes the city, except the horse arrives after Hector is already dead. So the question is not whether Odysseus can deceive Troy. He can, and did. The question is whether he can get that gate open while Hector's command system is still standing behind it. Two things before we run it, because they change what this is worth. Both men are literary. There is no tablet naming either of them. They come from Homer and from the tradition that grew around him, and a number inside a poem is a poet's number, not a measurement. The opening situation is the Iliad's own. Achilles has withdrawn, the Greek wall is broken, there is fire on the ships.
Everything after that is a controlled simulation.
And where it invents something, I will say so as it happens. Victory condition. Odysseus wins if the gate opens. Hector wins if it is still shut at dawn. Nothing else counts, and neither man has to touch the other.
Our method is a doctrine, not a personality.
And this is where most tellings of him go wrong. He fights forward of the walls, comes out, hits, withdraws before the counterpunch lands. That works because of the rule underneath it. No Trojan force goes further from the gate than it can be recalled to. He wrote that rule. He does not personally enforce it because nobody could. A 9-year defense runs on watch rotations, officers who own named sections, standing gate orders,
Keep your eyes on the ridge.
horn sequences that do not need him present to be obeyed, small reserves inside the walls, and messenger routes walked 10,000 times. That is the thing Odysseus is actually fighting. Not a man on a wall, a set of habits that keeps working while the man who wrote them is asleep. His method is the mirror image. 12 ships from Ithaca means winning by weight was never available. What he has instead is the ability to make someone believe something. He and Diomedes walked into the Trojan camp at night and walked out with the horses. He talked his way in as a beggar. He took the Palladium. And he is patient in a way that gets underrated. He will spend a plan he knows will fail to see how the answer is organized. And that is the real contest.
Odysseus must find a decision he can corrupt.
Hector's system exists to make sure no such decision is available. First attempt. He tries to make the Greeks look like they are leaving. Pressure comes off the Trojan front over days, in increments that each have an innocent explanation. A section pulled back to bury dead. Ships repositioned along the beach.
Pull together, friends!
Fewer men at the ditch each morning. None of it is a trick you could point at. Together, it is an argument. And the argument is that the coalition is breaking up. The council makes the case for pushing out. And it is a good case because Odysseus built it to be. Priam's other sons want it. The men on the walls want it. 9 years of being told to be patient. And here is what patience was supposedly for. And Hector does not simply refuse. This is the part worth being honest about, because the version of him who just says no every time is a character invented to make this verdict easy. He is under real pressure. Refusing looks like caution, and caution looks like fear. And he is the one who has to stand in front of people who think he has gone soft. So he authorizes a limited advance, named units, a fixed boundary, back before dark. Odysseus works exactly that. The Greek line gives ground in front of the advance, keeps giving it, and offers a running enemy that gets more tempting the further it runs. And for a few minutes, the Trojan advance is past its boundary and being pulled toward ground where it cannot be recovered.
Sound the horns!
The horns go. Not because Hector reads Odysseus, but because the boundary was set before the advance started, and the officer on that section had one job, which was the horns. They come back, Nobody thanks a man for a battle that did not happen. Second attempt, and this one is not meant to succeed. He sends a small party at the walls at night, few enough to lose, which is the point. It never gets near a gate. What it does is make the city respond, and Odysseus stands off in the dark and times it.
Few enough to lose, which is the point.
Where the reserves come from and how fast. Which stretch of wall is thin because the ground behind it is bad. The size of that party is not in any source. The scenario uses 12 men, and the number is doing nothing except being small. He loses them, and he buys the schedule. Hector reads the probe correctly and tightens the system, and the tightening costs him. More men on the wall at night means fewer rested for the morning sortie, and the sortie is the thing he has held Troy together with. A garrison awake all night hits softer. Odysseus has not opened the gate.
Keep the line! Keep the line! To the wall!
He has made the man defending it choose between his nights and his days. Third attempt. This is the one. It starts as noise at the wrong end of the city. A demonstration against the far gate. Loud, with ladders, meant to be seen and meant to fail. The reserves that answer it are the reserves he watched answer last time, and they go where he watched them go. While that is happening, he takes 18 men over the wall on the seaward side, where the ground behind it is bad enough that the section is thinly held. 18 is a scenario number. The seaward weak point,
Stay alert and hold your ground. Troy depends on us tonight.
is inference from how walled cities are garrisoned, not something Homer supplies. 2 sentries die quietly, a third does not, and the sound he makes is small enough to pass for an animal, and for about 90 seconds, that is what it passes for. Then they are inside a city in the dark, and this is what Odysseus actually is, more than the horse. A man walking through streets where every single person he passes would kill him, holding nothing but the fact that nobody has looked closely yet. They reach the Scaean gate from behind. There is a bar and there is a chain, and the objective was never to fight anybody. It is to lift a bar, because a gate open from the inside ends a 9-year war in the time it takes the Greek line to cross the flat, and that line is already out there in the dark, waiting to hear it. The outer bar comes up. The chain is halfway out of its housing. The gate moves, a hand's width, enough to see gray through, enough that the man holding the signal torch raises it. He does not light it. Because the veteran on that section, a man who has watched this same approach for years, not the same night for 9 of them, has noticed the thing that actually gives it away, which is not a raider. It is an absence, the sentry above who should have answered the hour and didn't. He does the one thing his standing orders require, and the standing orders are the whole point. He does not investigate. He does not go and look. He sounds the horn. The sequence answers from the next section, and the next, and the local reserve that Odysseus watched move 2 nights ago moves again, down the mapped street, at the speed he timed. And now the gate is a hand's width open, with 18 men behind it who need 4 minutes, in a city that has just given them 90 seconds. Odysseus has to choose, hold the gap, and hope the Greek line reads a torch that was never lit, or let go of the bar. He lets go. The chain drops back into its housing, and everything that follows is men trying to reach a wall in the dark against people who know the streets. How many come out is a scenario choice, not a source. It is a small number. Before the verdict, the case for Odysseus, which is stronger than the result, he got a bar off a gate that is closer than Achilles ever came, and there are 2 ways this goes, not one. The branch where he wins is real. Hector's limited advance was a genuine concession under genuine pressure, and pressure like that does not always stop at a boundary. One officer who wants a reputation, one section that keeps going, and the recall distance is gone. Or the third attempt lands 90 seconds earlier and the torch gets lit. The system that beat him is made of tired men following a sequence, and tired men following a sequence is exactly the thing Odysseus spends his career finding the seam in. The branch where he loses is the one that holds under these conditions, and here is why. Deception has to travel through a decision. Hector's doctrine is built so that the questions Odysseus needs to ask are never open questions. The boundary is set before the advance. The horn is sounded before anyone investigates. The gate is not a judgment call. It reaches the council. It never becomes an open decision. So, under these conditions, Hector holds the gate. The Trojan Horse defeated Troy. It never defeated Hector. It arrived after he was dead. And while that is correlation in a story rather than proof, the mechanism behind it is sound. A deception of that size needs a city that can be argued into something, and the horse works substantially less well while Hector's authority is intact. When it finally came, a priest called Laocoon stood up and told them exactly what it was, and was overruled.
Men of Troy, do not trust this massive horse. It is a Greek deception.
That is what a city looks like, with nobody left in it who can close a question. The bill is small in numbers and severe in proportion. Odysseus loses most of 3 separate parties out of 12 ships worth of men, and has no fourth like them. Hector loses a watch section and 2 nights of rest, and that second thing is the real cost, because the defense that stopped this runs on people being awake, and he has been spending them for 9 years. Which is the honest end of it. He does not hold because he is unbeatable. He holds because the system he built does not need him to be brilliant on any particular night, and the system has exactly one irreplaceable part, and it is him. This verdict belongs to the literary commanders the tradition hands us, not to 2 documented men. Troy was real, and was fought over, and burned. These 2 are Homer's. He is on the wall at dusk, with the crest still on the helmet, the one his own son will not go near. It comes off eventually, and then somebody rolls a wooden horse up to that gate, and there is nobody left inside who can say no.